Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the 20s. Here with Amer and Bryce, your host, Michael Vetter, and I am happy to bring you to our Week 5 Start-Sit show. But before we discuss the players, let's talk about the players on this Zoom call. Bryce, how are you today?
I'm good. Back in suburban New Jersey, in a basement, ping pong tables over there. I mean, what can be better than that? So I'm enjoying it. It's nice to feel the fall weather and get into full swing of the football season now that my Yankees are out. So can really focus on fantasy football.
If you thought Bryce didn't know sports, you need only look at the hat collection behind him to see differently. Amer, how are you doing up there? And is it Syracuse, New York?
Syracuse, New York. I'm feeling good.
Syracuse.
A little tired, late night last night, but here we are, living. We're good.
Remember, folks, Amer is still in school. Got let back a few times.
Mm-hmm. Advanced degree.
Exactly. All right. So with that, from New York City, that's where I'm coming from today. We are going to have our Week 5 Start-Sit show. We have some great questions coming at you here. We're going to start with a full PPR flex question. Coolest way to start is with a flex and full PPR, if you ask me. And we have here Emmanuel Sanders at Kansas City, Juju Smith-Schuster versus Denver, or Hunter Renfrow. Not Renfrow with an E. I learned that guy's on the Red Sox. But this Hunter Renfrow is playing for the Raiders versus the Chicago Bears in beautiful Allegiant Stadium. Amer, who do you like of these three?
Yeah, so I think there's one kind of outlier. One of these three I'm not really thinking about this week, and that's Juju Smith-Schuster.
Ouch.
I think he's out for me this week. I think Denver's got a good defense, and the Steelers have not been good, to say the least, this year. Big Ben looks washed. I'm just going to say it. He's old. I think he's gassed. He's got nothing left in the tank. He's got to stop at the gas station if he wants anything left for this season. So I think he's out. And then with these other two, it's tough because the Chicago Bears secondary has been pretty bad this year. And Hunter Renfrow has been getting some good volume. He's been producing pretty well. The Raiders have been good, 3-1. But with all that being said, I think I'm going to go with Emmanuel Sanders. I think that the Bills-Chiefs game is going to be electric. It's going to be lights out. There's going to be a lot of scoring. And I think Sanders has a great chance to score a touchdown and pick up some yards. So I'm going to Emmanuel Sanders here.
Right. So you agree with that take?
I do. I also agree that Juju Smith-Schuster is out for me. Just look at what he did last week with guys banged up. He's just not showing up. He's more of a possession receiver now. And I saw a post recently that said Big Ben is about as mobile as a tree, which I think is an insult to trees everywhere. The guy can't move anymore. I mean, after the injuries, it happens. Juju's out for me. Pretty much the Steeler offense is out for me unless your name's Deontay Johnson or Najee Harris.
Right.
But I'm not throwing Claypool in anywhere. I'm definitely not throwing Juju anywhere. When it comes to the other two guys, for me, it's much more about what you're looking for. And in a flex, you're always looking for a boom, right? You're not looking for a floor. Renfrow brings you the floor. You know what you're going to get. He's going to 5 for 50, third and Renfrow. That's just the way that they work. He might find the end zone, probably not. Emmanuel Sanders, yes, you could get 2 for 20 and just have Stephon Diggs go off for like 10 for 150 and 2 scores. Can absolutely happen. The Bills are going to have to score this week. They're going to have to throw the ball against a bad pass defense. And Emmanuel Sanders could show up for 5+ catches, 80+ yards, and potentially multiple scores. I'm going to go Emmanuel Sanders here because you're looking at a flex spot where you want to take a shot. If you're really, strapped in a bye week, I might defer to Renfrow just so I can get 10, 12 points. But in this case, Emmanuel Sanders is my pick.
Yeah, I agree that Juju's off the table. So it's between Hunter Renfrow and Emmanuel Sanders. And I feel that I'm always a little bit weary of starting somebody against the Bears defense. I'm going to go with Emmanuel Sanders as well. I think while Hunter Renfrow will probably give you a floor of about 8 points this week, I agree with Bryce's logic that kind of Emmanuel Sanders is that the high bust potential, and his floor is in, it's like in the 5 to 6 point range, which you can deal with. All right, so that handles our first flex question. And here, between the 20s, we keep on moving. So now we're going to go to the rare but loved tight end question. We have a full PPR here. George Kittle, unfortunately, is listed as doubtful for this week. So people are trying to scramble for some options. And I feel like this listener may be scrambling themselves. So here we have a tight end question, full PPR. Cameron Brate versus Miami. Of course, Rob Gronkowski is out this week. Tyler Conklin versus Detroit. CJ Uzoma, got that right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Versus Green Bay. And then Max Williams with 2 X's, and those X's are in Max. He's playing versus San Francisco. So, Bryce, who do you like in of these tight end options? And let's, as a matter of fact, you know what? For the people that are out there that are trying to decide, some of them might have some of these on their waiver wire, let's rank them. So, Bryce, can you rank these 4 for?
I can. First thing I want to say is that a guy who might be on your waiver wire, who I'd rank ahead of all of these guys, is Dawson Knox. He could be there, take a shot. Absolutely. He's found the end zone multiple weeks. He's your best choice if he's there. Other guys, I assume, are not there anymore, Dalton Schultz being one of them. So we're looking more at the guys who are going to be in most leagues. How I would rank these guys. I'm going to start from the bottom and throw CJ Uzoma at the bottom. He hasn't shown any kind of consistency anywhere. He had a big week last week, Jaguars. I put no stock into it. He's off the table for me. The way I would rank the rest, I would go Cameron Brate at 1 because Gronk is out and we see what Brady's got with Gronk. Now, that could be a Brady Gronk connection. It could be a Brady tight end connection. I don't really know, but I'm willing to take the chance on Cameron Brate in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense if you're scrambling for George Kittle. He'd be 1 for me. 2 is going to be Max Williams. Max Williams has found the end zone a couple times this year. Kyler Murray likes him in the red zone. Again, you're talking about backup tight ends. You want to get the guys with the highest touchdown upside. You're not going to get yards. You're not going to find Darren Waller. So I put him at 2. Tyler Conklin, I put him at 3rd. He is the best matchup of the 3 against the Lions. But I just think Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson are both going to go over 100 yards this week. And the running game there is the bread and butter of the Viking offense. So I'm not willing to take a shot on the 5th option in that offense when they could get out to a 30-point lead by the first half. So for me, it would be that order. Brate 1 with just the upside of tight ends. Max Williams, Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzoma.
We all know who scores touchdowns in Minnesota, unfortunately, for Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson owners. But Amer, do you agree with that ranking?
Almost.
And folks, just you got to give Amer a little bit of credit here. He's a 6 and 8 man league, guys. So this is the
We're
also
also in that 12-man, guys.
With us though.
Yeah,
So
with everyone. With the
Speaking
boys.
of highest chance to make the postseason. Thank you very much.
Via
After losing
ESPN.
Travis
We all
Etienne.
know what ESPN, those analytics at ESPN are all about.
well, you don't need analytics to say that you're the worst of the 3 of us.
Hey, I don't like that, Mike. That was unnecessary. That was unnecessary, Mike.
That was
I'm only
cold.
1 game back from you boys. Oh, watch out. We got a long season ahead of us.
Are we all in the same division?
Yeah.
Wow.
You put us there on purpose, I guess, Bryce.
The way I do divisions are odd picks and even picks.
And for those of you who are wondering, actually, our good friend Ben, the D3 Khalil Mack, actually has the highest playoff percentage. Looking at it now, he's first place in the other division.
Good for him. That's
by the way,
biggest,
we gotta
that's the
give-
biggest
we should
news
give-
of the week for Ben.
Yeah, we have to give a shout out to Ben. Congratulations on your engagement.
Engagement.
And,
Good job, Ben.
Buddy.
Way to go.
but anyway, Amer, we have a tight
Back
end
to this
Let's get
question.
the
Back to the
important
tight
things.
ends.
Yeah,
The real news here is the tight ends. And I almost agree with Bryce. I like Cameron Brate at 1. I like CJ Uzoma at 4, but I like Tyler Conklin a little bit more than Max Williams this week because of the matchup, as Bryce said. At this point, when you're looking at these guys, you're rolling the dice for a touchdown. That's all you're going for. They're not going to get yards. They're not going to get catches. You want those 6 points, and that's all you need from the tight end at this point. That's all you can ask for. And I think against the Detroit Lions, he'll be fine. And I think he's got the best shot at a touchdown. If they get into the red zone, I think he's as much of a chance of scoring as anybody else. Maybe not Thielen, but I think Kirk Cousins could look for the tight end deep in the red zone, and I think he's got a good shot at a touchdown this week. So I do think Braid is the best, but then I would go Conklin, Max Williams, and then CJ Uzomah at 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Bryce's ranking. Obviously, there's a very small flip flop in the middle, but I know who scores the touchdowns.
I should be the one
in
celebrating
Minnesota.
Bryce.
I know who scores the touchdowns in Minnesota there. So I'm not very confident in Conklin getting into the end zone this week. And I'm sure he will score. But we'll see. All right. Next question. We have a flex question. We're going back into flex land. We have a full PPR. We have Odell Beckham Jr. He does not play for the Giants anymore. For those of you looking for him in the Big Blue this week. Odell Beckham Jr. playing at the Los Angeles Chargers. Once again, not in San Diego. Darnell Mooney, whose Bears are playing at Las Vegas. And then finally, Michael Carter, who's, if you look into the box score, you might think he's playing at Atlanta, but it's actually in London.
Across the pond.
Across the pond, yes. Set your alarm clocks early for those lineup blocks for the Falcons and Jets that you have on your fantasy team. Which
9:30 Eastern, 6:30 West Coast Pacific time.
Exactly.
Big brain.
If you have Jets on your fantasy team,
you got
4
bigger
days,
problems than
right?
waking up early if you got Jets on your fantasy team.
But Amir, let's get us started here with who you would take in a full PPR situation.
Yeah, so I think Michael Carter is out. I don't really believe in the Jets. The only Jet that you should be starting or even considering starting is Corey Davis, because he can get a touchdown. He's shown he gets the targets, he can get the yards. He's got that.
Just remember, for that to happen,
potential.
the team does have to score a touchdown.
That's true, but they have scored a touchdown in almost every game this season. Don't quote me on that though, because I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me either way. And then we're looking at Odell and who's the other one?
Mooney.
Darnell Mooney, right. We're looking at Odell and Darnell Mooney. If you asked me this question 5 years ago, I would have said, who the fuck is Darnell Mooney? But I would take Darnell Mooney this week. And I think he showed a lot with Justin Fields last week. They have some sort of connection. They're willing to throw the ball downfield. Finally, the Bears are. And with Justin Fields the starter moving forward, I think he's the right play. I think the Browns just don't throw enough to really justify any consideration of Odell. That's a running team first and foremost. So yeah, I just don't think the volume is there for Odell. Although he's an okay play with Jarvis Landry out, I'd rather play Mooney this week.
All right. Amir picks Darnell Mooney, the Chicago Bear. Bryce, do you agree?
It's close, but I don't. I'm gonna go Odell Beckham Jr.
Ooh.
here. The running risk terrifies me. Absolutely. I own Nick Chubb in other leagues. I'm really excited.
Not excited from Kareem Hunt last week.
That's true.
Hey, Mike, he's a top 10
That's
running
true.
back so far this season, so can't complain too much about Nick.
No, you can't complain, but I mean, let's get the touchdowns. Let's get Nick Chubb in the end zone. That's this Kareem Hunt stuff.
But they're going to run the ball 20 plus times every single week. Doesn't leave a lot of volume. And the passing game, the Charger defense can be porous. The secondary is solid, but the Browns are going to have to put up points. I mean, have you guys watched Justin Herbert this year? The guy is unbelievable. Austin Eckler was a fantastic pick, which I know all three of us were talking to him up this season, except for Mike, who took Jonathan Taylor in a full PPR league because Mike has a big brain.
Big
So
mistake.
it does scare me a little bit, but Mooney might scare me even more. The Raider defense has been locked down this year. We saw what happens when Justin Fields gets pressured. He throws for under 75 yards. I'm not willing to take that chance. I know he went 5 for 125 last week. Mooney did. A lot of that was in the first half. They locked him down afterwards. I'm willing to take the shot on OBJ and take my number one receiver there with more of a known commodity.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to agree with Amir here. I like the Darnell Mooney play.
I got to switch.
Because I'm very afraid of the running risk for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, just watching it, they really focus on the run game. I don't see very high PPR upside for Odell. And then you're kind of, relying on a touchdown, which there are a few options up there in Cleveland, or I should say out west. But now we move on to our final question, another flex question here. We see Odell again. There's a half PPR. We have Odell, Cordaro Patterson, Michael Pittman, or Damian Williams. Cordaro Patterson's playing versus the Jets. Michael Pittman's playing at the Ravens, and Damian Williams is playing at Las Vegas. Bryce, we'll start off with you here.
So I think this is a really interesting question because this is a lot of, buy or sell type players, right? Do you buy into what you've seen, or is this a player that you think was more of a mirage? If you're telling me Damian Williams is going to get David Montgomery production, I'm playing Damian Williams. But this is more of Montgomery's out multiple weeks. You picked up Williams if he was on your roster to hold him for a couple weeks and see what happens. I want to see it once. So I'm not going to play Damian Williams this week. A lot like when Odell came back, I want to see it happen. For me, I'm going to go Cordero Patterson. I mean, did you guys see what he did last week? 3 touchdowns, 85 through the air. Wasn't a lot of volume. That's what's scary. He turned in 60% of his catches, went for scores. So there's some volatility here. But let's be real. They're playing the Jets. I don't care that they're in London. They're playing the New York Jets. Cordero Patterson could just have 200 yards from scrimmage this week, and I wouldn't be surprised. I do like OBJ, like we just talked about. Patterson brings way too much firepower to leave him on your bench, especially in a juicy matchup like this. Like I talked about earlier, when you're talking about a flex position, you're looking much more for ceiling than floor. Patterson gives you that just ceiling shattering performance. So for me, it's pretty easily Patterson in this case.
All right, Ahmed, do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree. You just got me with 3 words, New York Jets, and I'm all in. Cordell Patterson last week, balling. So far this season, he's been unbelievable. He's like top 5 running back, which is something nobody at all saw coming from this guy on what is not a good offense, which is very surprising, but he's done it, and there's no reason he won't do it again this week. If anything, he could get even more receiving volume. Both Russell Gage and Calvin Ridley are not in London with the team. So who are they going to throw to? Can you name another receiver on that team? I can't. So, I mean,
Julio Jones?
A couple of years late, Big Mike.
But
yeah.
I do recall, though, we were asking Julio Jones, does he have great potential this year? And somebody was pumping the brakes on the hype train.
Big Mike was?
He's been like
He's been fine.
Right.
He's been hurt. But
That's
he's been
right.
Okay.
Big
He's
Mike
been okay.
pumping the brakes on the Julio Jones
Mike.
hype train.
weekly flex when he's on the
Yeah,
on the field.
Fine. But anyway, Cordell Patterson, I think, is going to go off this week. I think he should be in your lineup against the Jets. Absolutely. I mean, he's going to, as I said, he's going to get the targets. He's probably not going to get too many rushes, but you don't need that with this guy. Play him at flex, play him at running back too, and especially in PPR, and just watch the fireworks.
Yeah, I agree with this Cordell Patterson play here. So I think this is the first 3 for 3 we have. Or no, Cameron Brate. With the order tight ends, we had a little bit of disagreement. But I agree. This season, he's giving you high single-digit rushes, which is good, and then he's giving you those 5 receptions, which, I mean, right there, you're looking at, say he averages, even if he averages 3 yards per carry, that's 1.5 plus the 5. You're looking at 6.5 points before we even calculate any receiving yardage there. So that's kind of very exciting, very good floor. And then, as Bryce says, he has the potential to just break through the ceiling. So I like the Cordell Patterson play there for sure, and he is playing against the Jets, which is also very nice for fantasy owners. All right, those are all of our questions this week. You guys have anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
For those of you who drafted Russell Wilson, like I did in multiple leagues, I'm sorry for you. It's now streaming season for those of you on the Russell Wilson train, so I'm sure we'll talk about that next week.
All right, folks. With that, we wish you the best in week 5, and we will see you again soon.